Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. I'm Deborah Deras, your host, top Latina peak performance speaker, and I am here interviewing experts in the field of speaking so that you can learn from all of their mistakes and be able to learn from their successes so that you can be a paid speaker as well. And I'm so excited to be back. You know, we took a little hiatus with a little bit of a quarantine, a little bit of a plague, wasn't able to get to the studio, but like everything else, we just need to learn to shift, to pivot, and to be able to have the show going on. And the show has been going on, and this is our 2-year anniversary. This is our 63rd episode. I'm so excited, not only because of the feedback that I've gotten from you. You've sent me emails, you've sent me texts about how you've been able to get out there, and I want to continue to support you to do that. So one of the things that I have in addition to the podcast is a free webinar for you. And the webinar is 5 mistakes new speakers make and how to avoid them, right? And the next webinar that I'm going to have is how to be booked as a speaker at a virtual conference. So there's so many great webinars. You can get them at deborahderas.com/speak now, my friends. deborahderas.com/speak now. And you are going to love today's episode. I know Marianne Mama Cheesecake is already on. She was like the first person here. Looking forward to it because I've been teasing people about you, Cheryl. Today is extra special because Cheryl is not only an amazing speaker. I'm going to give her a formal introduction in a moment, but she is my mentor. She is, when I first started with the National Speakers Association, I would think it was 2002, Cheryl? Or late 90s. I don't know.
Yes.
It was, and I was in this academy about how to learn the business of speaking. And in order to be a member of the National Speakers Association, you needed to have a certain number of paid gigs. And I had reached that level. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But there was so much I didn't know. And I was taking, it was like the seminar was 8 to 12. And then I would go with Cheryl and she would teach me how to get my one sheet to sparkle, how to brand myself. And Cheryl reminded me it was her idea for me to be a Latina speaker. I didn't want to niche like that. And the riches are in the niches, right? And Cheryl's like, you have to. And you are going to learn so much from her. So let me formally introduce her. And you're going to love her as much as I do. I have Miss Cheryl Rausch. She is the CEO of Sparkle Presentations, Inc., based in San Diego. She's an international top-rated presenter with over 3,500 presentations, okay? She doesn't joke around, my friends. Cheryl is also a 17 times published author. Did I read that right? 17, 1-7, OMG. Prolific content creator here. For those of you that can't publish one book, she's published 17. She's going to talk about that. And she is in the National Speakers Association, both chapters, Southern California, and so it's LA and San Diego, right? For outstanding contributions in the speaking industry. Her presentations rekindle the spirit, raise the bar, and create excitement. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Woohoo! My Latina speaker. I love it.
Yes, it's so amazing to see you. I don't think I've seen you since then.
Maybe not. Only on Facebook, only online. I feel like I'm sitting right there with you in your studio. So, hello, listeners. You're right here with us.
Yes, and thank God for social media for keeping us connected all of these decades later. Because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to impact and transform lives and get on stage and be with the audience. So thank you. I've never got a chance to formally say thank you. And now I can say it publicly in front of everybody. So, you know, the speaking industry has really been hit kind of like a 6.5 earthquake or whatever.
Probably an 8.0. Probably an 8.0.
Yeah, probably an 8.0
on the Richter. Yeah.
For those of you that are listening later on, we're going through a pandemic, a plague, and we've been quarantining. And basically, I don't know about you, Cheryl, but all of my speaking engagements were either postponed, delayed, or canceled. And I finally was getting international ones. I had one in Monaco at an aesthetics conference. I had one in Italy. That was a retreat, and another one in Medellin. I say this every week because I'm still mourning the loss of these speaking engagements. But
I feel your pain. I was scheduled for 10 days, 3 keynotes in the Philippines. And this weekend, over Memorial Day weekend, I would have been in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. So I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Yeah.
Yes. And so how has it impacted you, and what mindset shit did you have to have in order to stay up and not get sad or depressed or down?
Well, I don't focus. Thank you, because that's a great question. And based on I speak on having a sparkling attitude, I have to live it myself. So I find ways to find the joy regardless of. Now, it helps that I've had a remote office for decades. I've been doing programs online for nearly a decade. Wow. So none of this is new. However, what it's enabled me to do and how it's impacted me is I've upgraded my entire studio and realized that in my home, I have additional backgrounds. In this particular virtual office, I have 5 potential backdrops in this potential office. So for me, the pandemic pause has
I love it.
Has supported me in taking a look at what do I really have as a message that's profound that people need to hear, that how can I truly serve them without selling, because we're all in this together. Every person globally is affected by this pandemic in some way, shape, or form. So it's impacted back of the room sales. And even more than that, I miss the hugs. I miss the hugs. I miss the face-to-face, being able to really connect with people. And my prayer is that we get back to that. And as we talk more in this conversation, it's interesting what the economists and the futurists are telling us, especially our thought leaders in the National Speakers Association. So for me, I'm looking at what programs do my clients need? How can I be of great service? So it's tuning out the distractions. When people on social media say, "Oh, what are you doing with your free time?"
I'm like, "What free time?" Right.
I'm on purpose. I'm on fire. I take breaks and go out to my waterfall in my tropical backyard here, but I'm focused. I have things to do. I have people to serve. I have people who need to hear the messages. There are people who need to hear our messages of hope. They need us. They need us. I don't have time to sit and wallow in tears.
Exactly. You said 2 things that I absolutely want to just enhance. Is our motto here on the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast is you are a messenger for a very important message, and your time to get it out is now. And even now, during the time of the pandemic, do we need motivation, inspiration, and guidance more than ever? Yes. And the other thing that you said, and this is what got me out of, because I was in a little bit of a funk. Those of you that are following me on Facebook and YouTube, you already know I got sick, not COVID, but I got some other hive thing for 3 weeks. I was in super pain. And I think a lot of it because I thrive as an extrovert from human connection. And I had no human connection for 45 days. Not one soul, just the Amazon.
So you were going through withdrawals. Withdrawals.
Maybe the hives, we're like human contact. But the bottom line is, it's not about me getting from my audience. It's about me giving to my audience. And what you said is what turned me around from the depression, from the funk, from the illness was I asked myself, how can I be of service to people now? How can I? And I did what you did. I have like 3 sets just in the kitchen. This house is so tax deductible. Even the patio has an office. Like every room of the house has an office. And when you said you had an Ethernet, I'm like, yeah, we got to upgrade the Wi-Fi. We got to get everything, because this is our studio. All of you that are listening, you have literally a studio in the palm of your hand, whether it's your iPhone, your laptop, your iPad, to be able to get your message out. And I love that. So
Yeah.
what do you predict? You said you've been listening to economists of the National Speakers Association. What are they saying is the trend for the speaking business? And I'm sure other industries will relate to this.
Well, and right before this, I was speaking for the International Association of Venue Managers up at the LA
Oh,
Convention Center. And here's all the convention center management staff, all the bigwigs that their phones are lighting up with every single message. Coachella canceled, Stagecoach canceled, Comic-Con canceled, all the concerts. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking I needed to shift my presentation to address the elephant in the room that
right,
had not been named yet.
right.
And to give them hope and give them tools. And then coming back and bringing them up on a high with humor. And it's from the futurists like Daniel Barris. And then we also have Barry Banther, who's an economist, great thought leaders in the National Speakers Association, and paying attention to the town halls, because that's our support system. Those are our colleagues. And the candid conversations are that this is not going to be turning around quickly. So even though I am an optimist, I'm also a pragmatist, and I teach
Right.
this, so I live this, is okay, based on that we may not be fully open as a state. Here we are both in Southern California for a while. And then the events and the speaking industry have forever been changed as freight management, as everything globally here. So we need to take a look at that. And what the economists are saying is that it'll take us 5 years to rebound from this.
Oh my God.
Yet my first speaking engagement live that I've accepted is in November back in New Brunswick, Canada. So even though our flights have changed, everything's being leveled up, then how are the airlines going to be taking care of the safety measures? How are the
Right.
passengers doing? Everything. And I hope that the border between US and
Right.
Canada is open before November, as one of my Canadian friends reminded me yesterday. Hey, so I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So it's definitely changed. Those who are established in this industry and highly invested, shall I say,
Right.
one of my colleagues lost $1 million in 1 week. And that's not an understatement.
Wow.
Not an understatement. And I could tell you his name and you would know him. But it's like, wow. So what are they doing? The pivot isn't a small pivot. Sometimes it's a big pivot of
Right.
where do we go so that we can continue to serve. Because it's not about the money. It is about the message.
Exactly.
It's about empowering lives and helping people do what it is. So the other thing that you were saying is that we're needed right now for both of those things, but we're also needed to teach people how to. That's why we do the online programs that we do, so that people can get the information as they need it. It's just in time type of learning for that. So we need to be optimists, we need to proceed, and we need to take care of what's in front of us. What can we do? What are the highest priorities? Because if we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, people are at base level again right now, that we're looking at survival, where unemployment is the highest. Well, what if we are speakers and trainers and experts, subject matter experts on job interviewing skills? You're so needed right now. So what's that pivot? Maybe your background is in human relations. How can you pivot slightly to start doing online courses or small group coaching? So we do need to, what do we need to do right now to help each other get through this together and with our sanity?
And I love that, because before I was a speaker, I was a vocational counselor. And we always talked to, and specifically with people with disabilities, but we always talked about transferable skills. What are your talents, skills, and abilities? And what are people's pains and problems now? And how can you serve them? Right. So, when I was out on the road speaking, I did a lot about peak performance, productivity, and engagement. And now where I'm being called is this mortgage real estate company is bringing me in to do a marketing series for their agents. And it's to get their mindset right so they can sell houses, teaching
Yep.
them marketing strategies and teaching them how to manifest their goals and not get into the fear that's in the collective consciousness right now.
Right,
So it's
right.
so important. I love that you said you're optimistic, but you're also pragmatist, because we have pragmatic. Yeah, we have to be aware of like the reality of what's happening so that we can create those online programs and we could do those webinars. So how do you advise people that have never done a group coaching program or don't know, like tell them about your equipment, friend? What are you using so that you can do amazing presentations that people can feel your energy even from the comfort of your home? I have to tell you, I like being off the plane. I finally put my suitcase away because it was always ready to go. I mean, even this year, before this happened, I went to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, San Diego. I had some speaking gigs in the Inland Empire. I was traveling from December 31st till March 1st, like nonstop. And I was like, oh, I can put my suitcase away. I kind of like being on Zoom. I kind of like being home for once, you know?
Yeah. And again, taking a look at it, because and going forward, there's going to be less live events. There's going to be less large events. I believe that there's going to be hybrid events where maybe there are small groups gathered at whatever our states determine is safe, and with masks and hand sanitizers and everything else. So there could be a small group inside the room, and that the rest of it is Zoomed or any other platform that's going out. I think right now people need to know what equipment is available for them. And as you said, you can broadcast live from your smartphone, from your iPad, from whatever it is that you've got, whatever those vehicles are to help you deliver the message or even receive the message, because this is a great time for us to be downloading the information. What courses, what knowledge, what information do you need to learn now so that when the doors to the world are back open again, that you're ready? So
exactly. Don't wait till then. Get your downloads.
You can't be sitting still during this pandemic pause. It's a global reset. And we're never going to be the same again. And how are we going to step into that? Our attitude, the mindset, how are we going to step into that with positivity again? So that's why, too, I speak on attitude and communication skills with expertise in marketing. So you and I, sister, we have parallel tracks in that. And again, people need to hear the messages that we can provide them. I think that, too, we're looking at more simplified life, where we as humans are realizing how much we don't need.
Oh, true.
So then if we pull back those things of doing, busy, and instead focus on being, then what does that look like for us in our lives? So for instance, people are cooking, baking, gardening.
I'm eating too.
Right. Yeah. My peaches are coming off thousands a day, and it's like, who can I give these to? So again, we're coming together globally, and we absolutely need to, which then brings us to online programs and webinars. Do you want to go there?
Wait, but let me just say one thing. I want to just highlight what you said, because you said two things. You said the pandemic pause and the global reset. So I love the reframe, being an NLP expert. I love that reframe, because instead of thinking of the world is falling apart, that, everything has gone to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, the gloom and doomers.
Right.
Oh, no,
and if
the sky is falling.
This comedian did a YouTube video about how to be depressed. It's like, start with the news every day, then go with the social media, right? It's just like, you will be in a state of fear and panic if you consume that. But if you take that pause, like you said, and I absolutely have increased my cooking, which is meditation, and my meditation, and I get what I call these divine downloads. I talk about aligning for success, and the divine downloads give you the inspiration for how to do things and what to do things. But it comes from the brain. There's 3 parts of the brain, of the being brain, not from the thinking brain and not from the doing brain. It's in that global reset that we all needed. I see people now not like this on their phones, but sitting in the sand and talking to each other, playing a game, having a conversation. I live by the beach, and people that lived on the beach in the homes were not there. And now everybody's there, and they're drinking their wine and they're enjoying the ocean. It's just like a slower, more mindful way of life that we all needed.
And
right?
simplified and really full of joy. And that's what we need to
Yeah.
do, is we need to look for the joy.
I love it. So
Thank
let's
you.
talk about some of those webinars and online programs. How do people get started with that?
Oh gosh. I would say, first of all, have content that's relevant and valuable to other people. Don't just be talking about stuff because you think it's a blah 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 blah, and don't talk to hear yourself talk. Talk because someone needs to hear what you have to say. So I would say learn the platforms, absolutely become a Zoom star. I love that. Have relevant content, provide value to people, and keep in mind that the technology squelches our energy by at least 20 to 40%. So same thing with our vocal, and we need to take care of our voice and our diaphragm and breathe and make sure that we're drinking water and everything. So have good equipment, especially have a good webcam. Make sure to light like we are very well lit right now, because people need to see you.
Right.
Have good podcast or webcam or Blue Yeti mics, whatever, whatever that is. And really bring the energy and the passion and your expertise to anything that you're going to be doing, because it could be online series. I'm getting ready to launch small group coaching and then master classes.
Let me know. I might want to join. Cheryl.
Absolutely. Oh, and virtual summits. So you've got a summit coming up. I was just booked before our call for another summit on, let's see, Friday. I'm speaking to Istanbul. So even though I couldn't go, I'm still going to be there. So, so what can we do? Oh, let's see. I'm creating a series of online trainings where it's live. It's actually with me, and on speaking skills, marketing skills, attitude, and probably job interview skills, because a lot of my virtual coaching is helping high-level C-suite looking for new positions, new opportunities that have worked with headhunters. So I'm updating resumes and I'm looking for them. Again, how can we be prepared? What do people need? And people always need communication skills, always need marketing skills. And it's got to start with attitude and mindset. What are we attracting and what are we projecting, and being mindful of what we're repelling? Again, laws of abundance and attraction and allowing and everything else. So what we bring to it is our perspective and our expertise. And the globe is your stage right now. Have a few essentials, but more so have value and relevance. Things that we did before no longer relate.
I think that's so important. I was working with someone the other day, and they were going to launch this webinar, but it had something to do with people going out to eat or people hosting at home. I'm like, well, how relevant is that now? Right. So it's really, and even with myself, like when I took a pause from the podcast because I was like, do people even want to be speakers now? And I realized, yes, I didn't know the power of the webinar and that everything was going to go online and virtual. I thought, if you're not at conferences, that was my limiting belief at the time. And I literally stopped recording episodes of the podcast. Shame on me, right? Because I didn't think that people would want it. What advice would you give to somebody that would want to start new in the industry as a speaker? Is this a good time, and how could they do that?
Wow. If you're, first of all, at any level coming into this industry, don't think that it's easy.
It's not.
It's a tough way to make a good living. We used to say that at NSA. Now we're thinking, I don't know, because as virtual presenters, we are now doing more of the work. Before, we would pack up the suitcase, we would travel, we would be there, give our presentations, autograph books, be present for and then we would come back home. Now, in our virtual studios, we need a stage. We need backdrops that are appealing. We need to have the versatility, the content. So there's an investment in this. And I'm like you, that when I started speaking, I invested over $100,000. And you may be thinking, oh, but it's so easy. No, you need equipment, you need coaching, you need cameras, you need websites, you need marketing. Sizzle reel, you need, and then you need to keep it up to date too. So then you need speaker one sheets, and then you need testimonials, and there's all these missing pieces. So to a new speaker starting out, if you're starting with maybe a smart device and you're posting it on your YouTube channel, then again, it's got to have relevance. But be prepared to invest if you're going to be doing this right. The next tip that I would say is, from a marketing perspective, is think about it from their angle, their challenge, their pain, their issues, and really get into the minds and the life's experience of the people that you're going to be serving with your message. So if you're saying, oh, and it's great to make this amount of money, and you're talking to people who have just been released from their job and that their company has closed.
Right.
No, it's got to be real. It's absolutely got to be real. And this is a time to help, not to sell. So if you're starting,
serving, not selling, right?
It's all about that. So if you're coming into the speaking industry or the online virtual presentation community, bring value, bring your passion, bring your stories, bring your authenticity, and bring your truth. That's the best thing to start.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes, it's not selling, it's helping, it's serving. And when you do that from an authentic place and you're visible, this is what I teach my people. You can't be like in your hiding place and people don't know about you. You have to get on live. You have to do a podcast. You have to do a webinar. People need to see, hear, and feel you to connect with you. So how can people stay connected with you? What if they want to join your group coaching program, or if they want to understand the speaking business better? How can they stay connected with you?
And thank you. I'd love you to stay in touch with me, CherylRausch.com, right there on the screen. And you can email me, Cheryl@CherylRausch.com. If you'd like a complimentary mentoring session, then in the CherylRausch.com site, under the tab called Speak and Market Like a Pro, then you can click there and scroll down to a big red button. I think it says click here, and then you sign in a little questionnaire so that we have laser focusing, and that's complimentary, 15-20 minutes, and I'm highly intuitive and I blast right through it. So allow me to serve you, to support you, and let me know that you're interested in the small group coaching too, because those will be set up by topics. And I'm here to serve and support. After 33 years of professional speaking around the globe and 47 years as a marketing expert and the 17 books, right? This is my time to really help you shine. Right. So allow me to serve you.
And you know what's incredible about you, Cheryl? We had like in that academy, probably like 10 different speakers, and you're the only one I remember. I don't remember it. I mean, not that they weren't great, but and I also remember because I was so resistant to niching. And if it wasn't for the niche, I wouldn't have booked JP Morgan, General Electric. Like everything was because they Googled Latina speaker and they found me. So you're awesome. You're awesome at what you do, the marketing piece, the communication piece, the mindset piece. We all need that right now. And I want to say thank you on behalf of all of our listeners of the Be a Paid Speaker Now podcast. We appreciate you. We know how busy you are. And if you guys go to her website and take advantage, CherylRausch.com. And also, I want to hear from all of you. If you have suggestions for guests, if you have questions that you want to ask me, I also bring audience members on as a guest host so we can switch tables and switch seats, and you can interview me with your questions. And I'm here to support you. Like she says, it's about being of service. And that's why I created the Be a Paid Speaker Now Academy. That's why I have the Synergy Speaker Mastermind. And that's why, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but every Wednesday now, I have webinar Wednesdays where I do free webinars. And tomorrow's episode is how to podcast at home. Guess what I'm doing right now? I'm podcasting at home, and I created a whole webinar on step-by-step everything you need, from concept to production, to distribution, to marketing, to post-production, so that you can be that messenger for a very important message. And not only that, monetize your magnificence. I'm so grateful to be here with you. Thanks again to Cheryl. And remember, with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Ciao.